Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Tyson Fury has parted ways with his longtime advisor, alleged crime lord Daniel Kinahan. So Kinahan has been advising Fury for the best part of 3 years. And this is going to be a bit of a video where we're just going to pick through and step through a few things because nothing is ever as it seems. And Fury's relationship with Kinahan, I don't think the true extent of it is probably known, but also I don't think many people realize that he's been advising Tyson Fury for about 3 years now. I think that will come as a surprise to many. His name, Kinahan, has been in the news more recently in the boxing sphere because he was thanked by Tyson Fury very publicly, and this is the video in the background now. So Tyson Fury saying, thanks, just got off the phone to Daniel Kinahan, the Joshua fight will be on, yada, yada, yada. So he was very excited. And that sort of set off a chain of events here. That's led to a lot of scrutiny, not just from the media, even talked about in the Irish Parliament. And a lot of people have been sort of asking the question, Daniel Kinahan, who is he? What's he all about? What's been going on here? What's his real connection here to Tyson Fury? So he founded MTK Global. That company manages Tyson Fury, but he stepped back from the reins of that company a number of years ago, and it is now being run by other management. But Kinahan had been an advisor to boxers who were with MTK, quite a stable of fighters, so he wants his foot in the door here to the boxing world and has had his foot in probably more than one for a number of years now, and people have been speaking very highly of him. You would have seen different boxing figures, no doubt, in recent weeks speaking highly of Kinahan, Bob Arum being one of them. So this is a situation with the scrutiny, which is kind of triggered more so from that Tyson Fury video where he was extolling the virtues of Daniel Kinahan, that it's really set off this chain of events. And just in recent days or the last week or so, Kinahan had to step back from a company he was working with in Bahrain, KHK. So it is one of these things that Kinahan and the light that's been exposed in his involvement in boxing, but specifically the heavyweight champion and helping to negotiate, the terms of a fight with Anthony Joshua for an undisputed fight, potentially at some point. They got to the point of it would be a 50-50 split, and Kinahan was central to that. So told Tyson Fury to the world, and here it is again.
Hello there. I'm just after getting off the phone with Daniel Kinahan. He's just informed me that the biggest fight in British boxing history has just been agreed. Get up there, my boy! Big shout out, Dan. He got this done.
But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, is he really out of the picture here? And we'll get to a couple of quotes and then I'll come back to that. So Bob Arum, speaking to The Telegraph, said, over the weekend, I've had a lot of conversations with Tyson Fury, and what we both decided is that myself, Top Rank, and Fury will do all the negotiations for fights in the future, whether it's for Joshua or Wilder or anybody else. We've informed Eddie Hearn about that. He knows where to go for the negotiations. Tyson and I have long negotiations about it. That's the way it's going to be. This will eliminate a lot of confusion. We've talked with Dan, who Tyson and I both love and admire and respect, and he understands that it's best the negotiations on Tyson's side be handled that way. Both Tyson and I have each discussed this with Dan, and he is amenable and is satisfied and wished us luck. He only wants the best for Tyson Fury. So those are Bob Arum's statements. So this is a very interesting development, and the question has to be asked, how out of the picture is Daniel Kinahan really? Because looking at this, it does make me wonder, because remembering Gareth A. Davis is very, sort of friendly with Tyson Fury to the point where he's fawning over him in, when you see different videos where different channels are following coverage of, say, the last two Wilder Fury fights, Gareth Davis is running around like a fanboy. So this has been given to him. It's an exclusive, So it was always going to be a bit of a soft touch sort of story. They want to get the information out. They want to get it to someone who is friendly, so they've approached Gareth A. Davies. And if you noted through the comments there and the story in general, if you find it and read it in full, it's not really sort of digging down and delving into Kinahan, his involvement, the ethics of it, given that he is alleged to be running a drugs cartel. So, I mean, some of that has just really sort of been once over lightly, as it were. And you have to ask the question, this is basically a publicity stunt. They're trying to make, this sort of go away. They want things to cool down. The Tyson Fury comments that Kinahan had basically orchestrated the deal for 50-50 with Joshua for when that fight happens. I mean, that has sort of led to this sort of chain of events that has led to all this media and now him stepping back. So just like when he stepped back with MTK and just like when he's recently stepped back from KHK, I sort of wonder, is he really stepping back, or is he still going to be pulling the strings from the sidelines, from the shadows? Because I think it's probably pretty likely. And bear in mind, most boxing fans had no real knowledge to any extent of the relationship between Kinahan and Fury and how deep it ran, and that he'd been advising him for 3 years. Hasn't really been mentioned much at all. We know he's been managed by MTK, but Kinahan's involvement as an advisor off to the side that is separate to MTK, allegedly, who knows really what's been happening. And with his sort of strong pull for this undisputed negotiations, clearly he has got a lot of clout, and people are willing to listen and get round the table with him. Obviously, some of these promoters have a bit of bad blood, and he's been sort of cracking skulls and getting, things done. So from the boxing perspective, some people might think, well, actually, this is a good thing that he's been doing. But with all the recent publicity exposing a light on his alleged activities in terms of being a cartel boss, there is an ethical question there as well. Should he be involved in the sport at all? What sort of figures do we want to be running boxing? And you can sort of say, well, there's a bunch of snakes running boxing, either as the sanctioning bodies or promoters anyway, so this guy joining it doesn't really make any sort of difference. But I do question, is this just some sort of PR stunt that they're trying to walk this back, say that he's sort of stepped to the side, Tyson Fury's got no more involvement with him, there's no more involvement in general with the promoters, negotiations, etc. But it does feel like he probably, given what we're led to believe about who he is, what he does, and how he's been operating, and the pull that he's seemingly got in the boxing world, is he really stepping back? What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.